Hey guys, I wanted to respond, Artemis, to your post, your status update about racism in Barbados, and are we just ignorant? No, we're not ignorant. Um, Let me defend that. You see, the human mind is set up in such a way. We have a conscious mind and a subconscious mind. A conscious mind is there because you're awake. Subconsciously, however, every single thing that you've ever experienced, everything, absolutely everything, whether or not you can recall it, doesn't matter. It's all stored on the subconscious. But the thing with the subconscious mind is it likes to automate a process. Like if you say, I'm going to get up and walk to the couch, you don't have to relearn how to walk. You just get up and you walk to the couch. It's an automated process. And that is based on prior stored knowledge. If you don't know something like driving your car, you had to learn. Some people were not sure that they learned how to drive, but they drive anyhow. Or they have a perception of what they think driving is. That's another day. But what happens with us is we draw from previously stored information in order to make a decision. So you say, how can a woman keep choosing this type of man? Because that's what she knows. She hasn't learned anything new. She just knows that type of person. And she will continue to do it because she is, every time you make a decision consciously, you choose to make it consciously, but subconsciously, you execute that decision. I want to tie my shoes is a conscious decision. Subconsciously, you draw from your database of shoelace tying. You tie your shoes subconsciously, not consciously. So she can say to herself all she wants consciously, I need a different type of man in my life. Somebody's going to love me and respect me and blah, blah, blah. But you see, the thing is with us as human beings, whatever's reinforced is what we tend to go with. So if a particular behavior is reinforced, like you can have a mom at home saying to her children, you're smart, you're this, you're that. That's one person. Or you can have your dad and your mom say it. That's two people. But when you go to school and you have 20 children telling you otherwise, that is what you're going to believe. What the 20 people say. Because there's more of them to validate the thing that you are trying to do. Right? So now what? So you have to understand, if she keeps saying to herself, oh, I'm going to get a different type of man. If her subconscious says this is the type of man you prefer, she will continue to choose that type of man until she decides to change what she believes. But how do you change what you believe? You need to become aware of what you believe. How do you become aware of what you believe? You challenge what you believe. So, for instance, they tell us here, you must wear sunscreen. And I'm like, sunscreen has titanium dioxide. And everything that you put on your skin is porous. It goes right to your liver. And then what happens to your liver if it gets damaged? Well, you're pretty much well screwed. So that was a belief I questioned. I'm like, you know what? I'm not laying out on the pool trying to get no sun. I have a hat on, I have long sleeves on, I go around the block, I come back. I don't need sunscreen for that. So I challenged that belief. I didn't just go along with the masses. You see, are we ignorant? No, we're doing what we know. How do you know? You were taught. Something you were taught, whether it was told to you or you perceived it or it was passed down from generation to generation. The point of the matter is you've learned something. And because you've learned it and it's stored in your subconscious mind, here's a prime example. If you're brown skin, you're pretty. If you're dark skin, you ugly. You may not have heard it like that, but you may have seen, if you're brown skin, oh, you get treated better. If you're dark skinned, you don't get treated so good. So if you have 30 people reinforcing that, that is what you believe in your subconscious. So what do when you go out into the world and you encounter someone who's brown skinned? Consciously, you know that all men are created equal. Subconsciously, brown skinned people are treated better. So what are you going to do? You're going to do what's stored on your subconscious mind. And if stored on your subconscious mind is brown skin is better, that's what you're going to do. Not because you're a bad person. Just depends on what you were taught and what you believe. So this is why it is important to challenge what you believe. So if you're going to challenge a belief, you need to recognize it. How do you recognize a belief? Well, a belief will show itself with your actions. If you do something that you are totally not happy with, or if you do something you're happy with, it doesn't matter. Whatever your action is, if you eat chocolate cake, and you're like, I love chocolate cake. Why do you eat chocolate cake? How does it make me feel? Why do you feel that way with chocolate cake? You see, you challenge what you know. You must challenge what you know because it is the only way to progress. And you see, it's not something that you can do on a community level. It has to be done on an individual level. For instance, if you were born physically disabled and your parents loved you to pieces and said, "Oh Lord, child, you the sweetest thing there is," and you're smart, but you go to school and 50 of your friends point at you and laugh and make you feel like absolute shit. What are you going to believe? Your mom? You want to believe your mother. But subconsciously, because the negative has been reinforced, that is what you're going to hold on to. It is the way the human mind is set up. I don't make the rules. I'm just saying that's the way the human mind is set up. And this is why you will see a behavior. You'll see somebody doing something and you think that is so irrational. Why would you do that? Because it is a belief that they have. And when I say belief, I'm not meaning religion. I'm not meaning religion at all. I'm meaning something that you believe. You grew up seeing and hearing a triangle is a triangle. But what if George down the street grew up hearing that a triangle is actually a square? You two are going to butt heads because you're going to tell him it's a triangle. He's going to tell you it's a square. Right? Based on what you were taught. We're all taught something. And how we perceive ourselves, especially in the Black community, is based on 439 years of slavery and a reinforced treatment. And what do? We share what we know. Because you can't share what you don't know. That's what we do. We share what we know. And it's based on prior experience that these people had. My grandfather was very well-meaning when he said to me, "You better go to school and get an education. Because if you don't get an education, you're going to get overlooked. It's bad enough that you get overlooked, but it's worse because you're Black. And you have to work harder. You have to study harder. You have to be better." He's 90. And I still hear that. Right? So, when you go for that job interview, you may have the credentials, but what is it that you believe? Do you believe you're qualified? Or do you believe what you were told? Your grandmother told you, your mother told you, your grandfather told you, your great-grandmother, your great-grandfather, that's what you heard. And so it is stored in the subconscious mind. And because that's where it's stored, because we like to be on autopilot as human beings, that is what you're going to draw from. You're not drawing from it because you're a bad person. You're drawing from it because that's what is stored. You can only draw from what you know. So in order to, who said it best? Albert Einstein. Now he was dyslexic. I don't know if you know what dyslexic is, but you see things opposite. You see it on the flip side. And had he gone through his life believing that he was stupid or less than, he wouldn't have had the atom bomb. We wouldn't have learned about atoms. theory of relativity, E equals mc squared. I still don't get it. And to think, wow, he's dyslexic. Had he believed what he was told? But you see, he understood how the mind worked. And so he said, I don't believe that. So here's what I believe, and this is what I will practice. I will reinforce what I deem to be correct, not what I was told. He challenged a belief. And as human beings, that is what we must do. We need to challenge a belief. So that I said to someone a little while ago, I don't remember what I told them, but this is what they told me. That's the way Barbados is. I was like, are you serious? Totally irrational. But that's what they believe. They believe that's the way Barbados is. Bajans don't help one another. Bajans have a crabs and barrel mentality, and that's what it was, and that's what it's always going to be like. And I said, well, if you don't change what you believe, it will continue to be that way. So, in order to change the community, each individual has to change themselves. People say, oh, you can't change. You're set in your ways. No. If you recognize the thing that needs to be changed, you can change it. So if you continually hear, you're not smart, you're not smart, you're not smart. Well, to change you're not smart, you have to say, I am smart. That's how you do it. The subconscious mind is unbiased. It just takes in information. And that's how you change it. But you see, in order to change, it means you have to spend some time and reflect on yourself. And we don't like being with ourselves, do we? No, we don't. We'd rather be doing anything else. Why? Because it takes effort. And if it takes effort, you can't say, well, it's this person's fault, it's that person's fault. To change involves you doing something and being responsible for your actions, as opposed to casting blame somewhere else. We cannot continue to blame other people. So now that you know how the mind works, you have to think like one of those think tank guru guys with marketing and advertising. The more frequently you say something to yourself and the more frequently it is reinforced, it becomes a new belief. So if you want to change Barbados, it has to start on an individual level. Because you're brown skinned doesn't mean you're better. Because you're dark skinned doesn't mean you're worse. You're human. But you have to change what you believe. And your beliefs are stored on your subconscious, not your conscious. This is why the weight loss industry is thriving. Why? I will be on a diet. I will exercise. Subconsciously, on the other hand, what do you keep saying to yourself? Food makes me feel good. If food makes you feel good, you're going to do it. And the subconscious mind always wins. It is always right because that's what you draw from, because we are an automated race. Much as you would not like to believe that, get in your car and drive. And you're like, oh my God, I don't remember passing so many blocks. Automated. And you're actually in a trance. Right? So, in order to change, you must first recognize that there is I can't even say a problem because it may not be a problem. So here's a prime example. So many women buy Remy. I don't even know who Remy is. Do I care to know who Remy is? No, but it took me a lot of years to get past the fact that my afro is beautiful. It is. It took me a lot of years because I kept believing that there was something wrong with my hair. Until recently I said, no, there's absolutely nothing wrong with my hair. My hair is beautiful. It's the package I come in. And when you start to accept yourself for the beauty that you have, whether it be light skin, dark skin, brown skin, it don't matter. Long hair, short hair, curly hair, doesn't matter. Then you start to reflect inwardly and see things and question them, why do you do something? You will change. You'll change. I think I've ranted enough now, but let me leave you with this. Question your behaviors. You're not questioning them for your neighbor down the street, you're questioning them for you. In order for the community as a whole to change, each individual must change. But each individual has to become enlightened and be wakened from their slumber, because that's what we're doing right now. We are so consumed with Remy and the value of our dollar that we're not realizing that as a people, one person prospers, we all prosper, and that wealth has nothing to do with money. But we believe continually every day that wealth is affiliated with money, and truly it is not. It is the feelings that we have when we have money. Oh, the freedom, I can pay my bills. That is what money generates. But you can generate that all on your own. That is a whole other topic. But question what you believe. Question your actions. Why do you do what you do? And when you understand why you do what you do, now that you understand the conscious and the subconscious mind, and it doesn't matter what you choose to do consciously, what matters is what you have stored on the subconscious mind. And that's where the change needs to happen. And that's how you will make a change. So I hope at least some of that made sense. If it didn't make sense, message me and say, Deep Abyss girl, you crazy. That don't make no sense. And then tell me what didn't make sense, and I will explain it perhaps a different way for you. But remember, consciously, you decide. Subconsciously, you execute. Anyway, love you. I hope that answered some of your questions, Artemis. Okay, bye.